Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Generation Next, your weekly video destination for everything to do with PS5 and Xbox Series X. Now, obviously we've been a bit Xbox focused these last few weeks because Sony has been very quiet. That is until this week, and even then all the stuff they're giving us has been doled out in a very strange piecemeal way. So to help me go through all these little breadcrumbs of information, I'm joined by the create button, Tamoor Hussein.
At this point, absolutely horny for new consoles, lads.
Being horny on main, a
Just
bold strategy.
Going straight forward for it.
Next week is gonna get real gross, so prepare yourself.
And the mysterious PlayStation UI, Jordan Ramey.
What's up?
So let's jump right into it, guys. What do you make of Sony's strategy leading up to the PS5 launch? So for context, when you compare it to Xbox, Xbox had dummy units that they sent out so they could, they basically flooded the the online with pictures of people having a Series X in their home. So you're already, like, you can imagine it in your home. And then they sent out, like, demo kits weeks before the actual launch date in November. And Sony, as far as this recording, they've given hands-on to select press in Japan and YouTubers in Japan. And worldwide, they've released that little teardown video. But there's still so much about it that we don't know. So what do you guys make of this strategy?
I think I've talked about this before in that I don't really understand it. And regardless of what the strategy is, Sony is giving a lot of runway to Microsoft right now. The oxygen around the discussion of next-gen consoles is entirely being used by Microsoft, like you said, and like we've mentioned a bunch of times in the past, the feeds are flooded with Microsoft. And currently, the issue that Sony faces is now is when a lot of people are making purchasing decisions or making financial decisions based on what they want to buy going forward. And what they have currently is a couple of Xbox consoles that they have a great deal of information on what it includes, what they'll get, how much they'll pay, the options that they have to pay for it, and how they can integrate that into their life. Because one thing that we often talk about is the payment model, but a lot of things that people need to consider is if they do use the kind of like pay monthly model, it affects stuff like credit score and that kind of stuff because it is like a phone plan. So they can make those decisions. Whereas right now they have very little to work on with Sony. So effectively all you really have is their track record and your brand loyalty to kind of make that decision, and maybe some games that might excite you. I don't know if that's enough for a lot of people. I think there's just enough like confusion and mystery around what Sony's console is that people could decide they want to pick Microsoft. And I don't think that's the intended effect that Sony wants, but it's what they're kind of getting out of it, which is a shame because there's probably amazing things happening on that console that we're just not seeing yet.
It's funny that you say that because there has been like a couple of things of like market research coming out that say that Sony is still dominating when it comes to audience interest, which is really, like, it's obviously great for Sony, but it's still very strange. Like, and you know, I don't want to wade into console war mindset too much, but it is so strange that like Xbox gets picked up on things like the reaction to the Bethesda acquisition, and yet Sony are like, you know, we're just over a month out and they're still holding so much back, and everyone is still like, it's fine. I'm like, my heart is with Sony. So like, Jordan, you're an Xbox fan. Like, what do you make of all this?
I mean, Tam already kind of hit it like right on the head. Like, it's one of those things where there are people like me who are buying an Xbox, like no matter what, I'm buying an Xbox, but I'm waiting to see what PlayStation is doing and what the PlayStation 5 looks like in order to buy one. On the same side, there are people who are definitely buying PlayStation 5. They love the PS4, the PS3, the PS2, etc., etc. They're PlayStation people, but it's that like middle group, the undecided people who are like, I can only afford one next-gen console. I can only buy one of them this holiday season or early in 2021. And Sony's not like giving them, I think, enough information to make that educated decision over which of those consoles they might want more. my hope in this entire thing is that Sony somehow is choosing to do this, that they are choosing to go with this strategy, because the alternative, that they just are going into this next console generation so ill prepared and so ill equipped that they're basically just doing the bare minimum trying to get by, is not a possibility that I like to think about. So I'm hoping that they're trying to just ride on the goodwill of the PS4, and they're like, oh yeah, enough people will buy the PlayStation 5, because the alternative, that they just aren't ready for this console generation and they just don't have much to show because they're just not ready to show a lot, is a lot more worrisome.
We're here to talk about the nitty gritty, because Sony have been drip feeding us information, and some of the stuff that's been coming out this week, it goes from like super minor and tiny information to huge stuff like getting to see the inside of the console. So let's run through and ask you guys for your opinions on all the stuff that we found out. So this one, I'm gonna class tiny. The DualSense differentiates different players because the light bar has moved and now it's on the top instead of at the back, which we already knew, but now we know that it helps differentiate different players.
Cool.
That's like a weird tiny bit of information that they're sending out.
I'm sorry, I don't care.
So I will make sure that this video is linked in the description below, but someone watched all the Japanese influencer hands-on and kind of basically collated like the biggest takeaways. Biggest takeaways are that the load times, obviously they've been pushing this for almost a year now, but it's like the load times are almost instant, which is very, very exciting. And like my PS4 right now, I love you, but it's struggling. Like it can barely run menus right now. Like
I had to take mine apart because I was so worried about it. I had to like replace the thermal paste on mine, and now it like runs like a dream. But like, I shouldn't have to do that.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, we had a couple weeks ago where we had the footage of my PlayStation just attempting to take off into orbit. But the big takeaway from all of these hands-on is that it's super, super quiet. And that, to me, is like, I can't play Warzone without putting headphones on now because that's how loud my console gets. It's, you know, this is a first, like in the first wave of PlayStation Pros before they fixed that issue. And I bought it 2 years ago and it's still, you know, basically getting to the stage now where I'm getting really frustrated at it, but not frustrated enough to take it apart because I've got a new console coming. So the fact that it's quiet, I'm super, super excited for.
I couldn't play Sekiro on mine because it would crash, so you know I had to do it.
You had to do it.
You know I had to do it to him.
Evan, we do actually have a picture of Tam photoshopped into that meme. I will send it to you later.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, you do.
Yeah, I don't know why I have that image, but I just do.
Oh yeah, it's the red face with the
it's the red face from E3 one time.
Yeah, I remember.
There is stuff going on around storage. So the Teardown video did show, you know, like how easy it is to add extra storage to the PlayStation. But also there is a bunch of easy. There's a bunch of leaks because we haven't seen the UI except for those kind of leaked Russian videos. But allegedly, looking at the UI, the OS takes up a lot of space, and there's only allegedly 664 gigabytes of usable storage space. That is
Big Yamiro.
Yeah.
3 Call of Duties at this point.
Hope that's not true, but
I really hope that's not true, but that's the kind of thing that I wish Sony would kind of come out and be like,
Yeah.
no, refute, objection.
I mean, like, the thing is, like, because people are going to say it in the comments, it's really easy to plug in a external hard drive, but the thing that we don't know is what impact does that have on running a game, you know, because a lot of the benefits of, you know, the new UI, instant loading, that kind of stuff will be using the SSD and the onboard memory stuff, and at least in the Xbox Series X's case, you can't do some of the instant loading and quick resume stuff if it's not on the SSD, the expansion slot. If it's on a external hard drive via USB, you lose some of that. So I imagine that some of it is still the case for PS5 stuff, but it would be good, Mr. Sony,
just
if
to
we
know.
knew.
Wouldn't it be nice to know what I've paid for? Sorry. Sorry. Oh god. Okay, no, actually, like this one is surprisingly a huge change in Japan. So, when games come over from Japan to Western, in Japan the circle button is proceed.
Go.
And the cross button, because that's what they call it. Weird. X button, cross button is actually stop. So I actually found this while playing Yakuza 0 the other day. In some instances, they forgot to swap the UI, which was quite funny.
And it's like ingrained in culture. So like they use that to be like no in Japan quite a lot, and it's like an extreme no, like get away from me no.
Yeah, but now they are bringing it like. They're swapping it to align with Western.
Anyone who played OG Metal Gear Solid will know how confusing it was that first time when people pressed X expecting to like hit new game and it would cancel back. It wasn't until Metal Gear Solid 4, I think, where they fixed it. Shout out to Ryan Payton, who was on that team at that time, and now he's at Camouflage, who pushed that, I believe, with a few others on the Kojima production team.
It's huge. Like I mean. I don't know. I just never anticipated something like that happening. I wonder why.
Yeah, their reasoning, even the reasoning that they gave is just like, oh yeah, it'll just be easier for us and players will like adapt to it. I'm like, I'm not even sure that's a good reason.
I think it's one of those annoying small things that just makes creating a game a bit of a hassle. You know how like when you're trying to do like rote work, you're just like, oh, I have to copy and paste this here again for the 900th time. I bet you it's just like, we just want to fix that. And also like Sony as a company is like skewing a little more Western now. A lot of the people in charge, a lot of the studios are a little more Western. It makes sense that they would think about it from a global scale, and keeping it that way for Japan specifically is probably just like, they'll get over it. We'll figure it out.
Okay, so an actual bit of Sony news. They detailed a blog post about Tempest 3D audio, the engine, how it will... So I'm actually, like, I didn't realize this, but it will turn any headset into 3D audio capable, as long as the game supports it. So obviously all the first-party stuff, Resident Evil Village. So HyperX, you get to live another day. My HyperX headset that only sometimes works in one ear.
My headset is broken, and I'm waiting for that headset to come in so I can. It's sold out everywhere, the new Sony one. I'm just like, oh god.
Well, the thing is as well, this news story means that it's gonna remain sold out, I think, because Sony has mentioned that it's only to work in headsets at launch, because it won't be working on your television until, you know, after launch, and on a TBD on that one. So it's one of the big touted features. Not being playable, like, I guess it's still kind of a win for Sony because people will want to test the 3D audio they can just by plugging in headsets. But it is a little bit frustrating, I guess, if you have a really sick setup for your sound system and you can't play it. But
I say, really, I think the bigger problem is the fact that, like, we know so little about PlayStation, and the fact that Sony's just allowing this, like, one somewhat negative thing to just exist without, like, countering. It's like, but all these other things will be available when the PlayStation 5 launches. Like, why have they just not followed this up with some good news?
well, it's funny you say good news. I actually haven't. Oh, actually, do you want to do a live reveal? I haven't checked my trophies. My trophies were supposed to change.
Oh, is that changing today?
It was meant to change on Tuesday.
Oh, I hope all my platinums are safe.
So Sony outlined that PlayStation trophies would be changing, like leveling changes. So now trophy levels don't go from 1 to 100, they go from 1 to 999. And also there's a new calculation level. So there's like, oh, the PlayStation app just crashed.
Yeah, it's not connecting. It's not connecting.
Here we go. I'm in. So my trophy level earlier was 14. Still 14. So it hasn't happened yet.
Mine was mine currently is 291.
All right, someone's been gaming.
So
Someone's
Lucy
gaming.
just
You know why?
doesn't
'Cause
get
I'm a
boost then.
Gamer. I'm a gamer. That's why.
So basically what they're doing is trophy levels will have different points allocated to them. So like your bronzest of bronze trophies, your press X to start games will be like between 1 and 99 points.
At Greg Miller, grow up.
Well, no, it doesn't matter because platinums are regardless worth 999 points. So bronze, 1 to 299, silver 300 to 599, gold 600 to 998, and then 999 for a platinum. And so this just means like trophy levels are changing. I'm interested. Like honestly, I'm waiting for that serotonin bump when I see the number go up.
It's not worth it. I just looked at mine. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
it's still just a number, whatever.
I got 60 hours into Yakuza 0 and I only hit 34% of trophies. That's depressed me.
You gotta do that side stuff. You gotta do
I
that
did a
side
lot of
stuff.
side stuff, mate. It's not
didn't
doing
do
anything.
enough. You gotta keep going. It's
Anyways,
not worth it.
So the other change that's coming to trophies is again a little weird slip on Sony's part. Is that trophy tracking is finally coming. It's one of my favorite things about the Xbox One. I especially love the way on Xbox you can pin it. Playing through something like Gears of War and you have a an achievement that do something 10 times. It's super satisfying just to pin it, change the opacity on it so it's not taking over the entire screen and just work towards something. Sony accidentally put this in a blog post on the French blog post and then removed it. But it's too late. Info's already out there.
Internet is forever.
The internet is forever. And especially when websites like GameSpot.com write it up. It's forever in our archives.
On it.
I don't know, like, this is a minor change, but honestly, it's a quality of life one that I've been hoping for a long time, so I'm excited about it. Should we talk about the Teardown video?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
It's very like. I mean, it makes sense that they did it, and the fact that they did it is kind of weird in itself. They haven't done an official Teardown video before. I think they're just getting ahead of other people doing it, which is great. Really interesting seeing them pull that thing apart. It's kind of fascinating in having just recently pulled the PS4 apart. A lot of similar kind of architecture in terms of how it's all laid out and shielding and that kind of stuff. So it feels like it should be fairly easy to get into if you're into that sort of thing. There's a lot of cool features in there that I was quite weirdly into when they showed it off.
Was that a joke about the fan?
Mm-hmm.
A fan joke?
That was a temperature feature joke.
Let's run through some of the features. Oh, actually, hang on. So when he gave the specs at the beginning, I got out a tape measure because, like I said up front, like Microsoft have done a really good job of kind of like showing the Xbox in people's homes. PlayStation memes of just like people next to giant PlayStations are really going out of control right now. So this is 390 millimeters, almost 40 centimeters, and I was like, how big is that compared to some things I have in my house? So 1 second, please. The PlayStation is taller than my air purifier.
Damn, boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy. Damn.
Anyway, PlayStation's massive. So, I mean, I don't know.
Do you know where you're gonna put yours yet? Like, that's really tall.
So, wait, hang on. I'm gonna put my Series X here, and I'm gonna put my PlayStation over here, because then I won't have to look at it.
Yeah.
Like,
Good shot.
no, it's because, and I've said this multiple times, all the stuff in my room is like, my monitor, my camera, the lights, everything is black accented, and the fact that the PlayStation is white, and yes, I know he said that you could take off the covers, and I was like, oh, and then it just looks like an unfinished piece of machinery if you do that, which I was kind of upset about.
Yeah.
But
I think the white, like, weird shaping is probably going to help, like, airflow, like moving
it
stuff
is.
around.
Probably.
So
It's basically the Naruto run in like form. It makes you aerodynamic.
R.I.P. Wraith's Naruto run in
Apex. Yeah.
Don't want to talk about it.
Unfortunately, no. But no, so I'm going to swap him around this time. But so the cooling system, liquid metal. Very Terminator 2 of them.
I think you've actually missed an important one. Entire rail of console is to get hot air out, just like mine.
Yep.
Oh, Tam.
That's what the booty is for.
So it has dust catchers.
The PlayStation 4 is not easy to kind of hoover up dust. So like even if you pull the top off and access the fan, like when I pulled my Pro off, so I took my Pro apart because it reached a point where I would start a game and it would turn off the console and give me a message saying your PS4 is too hot. So I'd never had that before, never seen that before, and it was like ridiculous. So I took it off and the actual fan was clean. But when I took all the pieces apart, there were dust pockets everywhere, and the heatsink in particular had a lot of dust bunnies in there. So the fact that, but there was no easy way for me to just like get a handheld vacuum cleaner and just suck a bunch of it out, because there was no purchase anywhere. So the fact that they've got a vent now that you can just basically use to pull out all the dust is going to be really, really useful.
One thing I will say is like the PS5 looks. Like I was watching the teardown video and I didn't feel, I felt like I could take it apart if I needed to. It looked like everything was really built to be able to be swapped out, repaired, much, much easier than with the PlayStation 4. Also, I just really appreciated the way that the base works, the way that you can keep the screw inside the base for when you don't need it.
You'd love to see it. Did you see the Xbox video of them like doing the...
Being cheeky.
The now deleted one.
The now deleted tweet.
I just imagine Phil Spencer walk into a room going, "Who's doing this?"
Well, no, it was Xbox. Xbox UK did it.
Yeah, but
And
Phil
then
can travel instantly across.
Oh yeah.
regions.
No, but then they used images from The Verge, which I really enjoyed. Like the UK brand doesn't have an Xbox Series X to just complete.
You know the Vine, the disgusting.
Disgusting.
Imagine that, but with Phil Spencer sponsors walking. Which one of you?
Who's done this?
Tweeted disgusting, and then it got deleted.
And then got deleted swiftly. But okay, so those are all the little breadcrumbs that we got revealed. That got revealed this week. So the stuff that we still don't know, and I'm gonna make a bold prediction here that we must be close to an event. I feel it in my bones. So Nibelian, fantastic resource for gaming news if you follow Nibel on Twitter. But they were saying, like, they went through the kind of hands-on features from Japanese press and Japanese YouTubers, and they said they weren't allowed to see the OS and they weren't allowed to use the create button. So I'm gonna put on my prediction hat, don't have anything.
Should have thought that one through before you started.
My prediction hat, and just say that I think there's an event coming.
Yeah,
next week. Must be.
There must be.
I think that create button's going to be massive. Like it's going to, not as in physically huge. It's going to be like it's going to be like so versatile. I bet you they have paid a lot of attention to streaming and also editing clips. I think there'll be a
Dreams. I think Dreams.
I don't
think have no. As in like.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna use create not just for online posting, but I wonder about like, this is from an old IGN UK podcast. I think it was Matt Purslow talking about it, and he was like, you know, setting waypoints to where you are in a game and having your friend pop in and do the same level as you, or like create your own challenges, like the kind of stuff that they started to try and do with SharePlay.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna be like the next level.
That would be pretty big.
I think baseline, like, I bet you, if they haven't already, I bet you they have, like, basically created a, you know, Adobe Premiere style system in PlayStation 5. Like, the tech
probably
is
going to be
powerful.
better than Adobe bloody Premiere.
Premiere fucking sucks. But, like, I bet you, like, they'll have, like, some comprehensive editing suite stuff in there. And, like, that will be a big reveal. Like, Beanie Siegel, I can feel it in the air. It's going to be soon, I hope. That was a very specific hip-hop reference for... Like...
But when you said I could feel it in the air, I was like, do you not mean Phil Collins?
No, who cares about Phil Collins? I'm talking about Beanie.
Put some respect on Phil Collins.
Put some respect on Beanie Siegel's name, that's what I'm saying.
But Chris Pereira from GameSpot.com has written a very good op-ed where he's asking these questions. He's like, yo, Sony, how does the PS5 work?
It's basically a 1,500 words of Chris going like this.
Yeah. But he asks very important questions, and like, it's really good. So please go read it. We'll link it below. Lads, before we go, what is your big burning question about Sony? Like, what do you hope, if there's an announcement next week. If don't know anything, I'm just assuming, I'm hoping at this point. What do you want to see?
I want to see how that cross-save stuff works, like, and what is happening to all my saves. Are they coming over if I purchase a thing on PS4 and then decide to upgrade later? Is my saves coming with me? What's going on? Tell me, Mr. Miss, nondescript, gender, Sony.
Jordan, what about you?
I just want a confirmation of what the UI looks like. I know we've had leaks and theories and all this stuff, but I really want to know what it's going to look like when I turn my PS5 on for the first time. It's a minor thing, but it's something that I really care about.
I want to know what the startup sound is.
It's just Shuhei Yoshida going, ah!
And with that, let's call it for today. Thank you, Jordan and Tam, for joining me once again. Thank you all for watching, and please be excited, because hopefully Sony's going to do something again next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Okay, bye.